welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for trusting something deep, deep, deep within your soul that says, hey, I'd like to be here. And I wanted to share with you a few ideas and perspective and lots of fire, lots of visionary fire. So you and I both get inspired to lead forward in a new way, in a way that is in alignment with our soul, in a way that nourishes, supports, and inspires us first, because we got to think of ourselves first. Without you, no vision can come through, right? And I just wanted to share with you some old ideas that I see that are dying, old leadership paradigms, but can still unconsciously affect our courage, our creativity. And when we bring something that is unconscious to light, it kind of begins to lose power over us, right? So welcome, beloveds. I see a lot of people that I know, and I see some new names. Melanie, Nicole, Sonia, Kai. Hi. Welcome, darlings. I'm really honored to be with you. And if you've never been to my presentations, or if you've been to my presentations, we're gonna go into a channeling mode. And usually I share a few slides because I find these key ideas that are really, really powerful. When you see them and you hear them, it's much easier to remember them, right? And then at the end of presentation, I'll share with you the 3 ways that I currently support visionary leaders. And if you feel called to experience that level of support, I will not leave you hanging. I will give you very clear steps on how to apply for that. And what else? I think we can begin. So if you are new or relatively new to me and my work, I wanted to take a few moments to just share with you that leadership is one of the key themes that I feel called to share online. And I've never had an official leadership training. I didn't go to school for it, right? I was initiated on the leadership path by life itself. And I've been in deep contemplation what leadership is all about. And what I keep finding is that leadership is a reflection of who you are. We lead in alignment with who we are. So the more we anchor in our ability to lead from our wholeness, from our essence, then our leadership becomes truly transformative and inspiring, right? Because the most powerful way to lead is to be true to yourself and to lead by example. So on that note, allow me to show you a few slides that I've prepared. And it is right here. I always want to know if you'd like me to leave my camera on. Does it help you to leave my camera on, or should I hide my camera? Let me know. A lot of times I ask my community to decide. Clara, Lisa, yeah, all right, Annie. All right, I'm gonna leave my camera on. Okay, so we are recording already, and yeah, this is me, Katerina, and I'm currently the role that I resonate with the most is a visionary leadership mentor, and it changes every year. And I'm truly grateful to share my insights about new paradigms of leadership. I'd like to start with sharing with you from my heart that my mission on the planet is to raise consciousness, to add my part in building the new earth, and to grow leaders. And I have this intuition that you are here for one of the 3 reasons. You are here because you may feel called to lead in a new way. And there's a certain level of vulnerability and courage, right? When we are being invited to lead in a new way, we are dancing with both fear, vulnerability, and courage. And a lot of times we're feeling all of that at the same time. You may be standing in the threshold. That's usually when people are guided to me. They are standing in the threshold, right? They're about to leave something known behind and enter a new chapter. And you know the value of support, encouragement, and clarity. And this is why we show up on these trainings, right? Because if you receive at least one insight or a healthy dose of inspiration that will give you strength to keep going, then my work and my contribution, I feel fulfilled, because you know we are here as messengers and encouragers of each other paths, right? So you're here for one of these three reasons. Let me know which one resonates with you the most. And to tell you a little bit about the Zoom technology, we have chat box where you can type, and through the time together, I will peek into the chat box. And at the end of our time, I usually give at least 20 minutes for live Q&A. So if you had a question or a share, and if you wanted to stay, we can definitely use that time. All right. So let me see. All three. Shana says all three. Anna Maria says all three. All right. So standing on the threshold, feel inspired to lead in your way, and you value support, clarity, and encouragement. And what I want you to know right off the bat of seeing everybody who is here is that I understand and I am on the same path. It never stops, beloveds. It's like a spiral. Leadership to me is a spiral. So you make the full circle, right? And there's going to be a new horizon of courage, a new threshold, and a new invitation. So we're never complete. We continue be invited by life itself to rise into new levels of courage, new levels of vulnerability, new levels of visibility, and definitely new levels of leading from our wholeness. So that is so healing to realize and to remember that it's an ongoing spiral, right? So first of all, we're never going to be bored. There is always going to be an opportunity to grow in a new way. And I'm on the same path. So I'm sharing all of this from deep experience. Now, before we go any further, maybe some of you asking, Katerina, am I a visionary leader? I've been drawn to this title, but deep inside, I sometimes doubt, am I a visionary leader? And who am I to think of myself in this way, right? Trust me, that voice is so familiar to me. I have heard that voice in the back of my head. And sometimes I wonder, am I a visionary leader? And here's what I invite you to consider. That to connect to this idea of seeing yourself as a visionary leader, comes from the depth of human psychology. We rise or we fall to the level we see ourselves. We rise or we fall to the level we see ourselves. So seeing yourself as a leader who is being called to bring a particular vision forward is very empowering, right? It's very empowering. It's something beyond your conscious mind. I take a stand to remind people right now that a lot of us feel a call of a bigger, higher destiny. And we are born to lead right now. Yes, we are born with this deep instinct to rise and to lead. And when I introduce to you the definition of leadership, that is so beautiful, so benevolent, so soul-based, that will give strength and empowerment to see yourself as a visionary leader, as a leader who has a vision that you believe, that you take a stand to develop and to rise to that new level of embodiment. It only takes two things to start on every new level of spiral: vision and instinct. Vision and instinct, right? But what it really takes to stand fully in your visionary leadership is the willingness to take the journey. You start with the instinct, you start with the vision, but it's the journey that takes you there. It's the journey to creating your destiny and to creating what only you can create. So what does it take? What does it take? The key idea that I keep sharing, that everything you desire will depend on the new way you choose to lead. This is a message that came to me on a visionary plan journey. You know, I work with powerful shamanic plants, specifically ayahuasca, for the last many years. And in the March of 2020, right before the world has shifted very radically, I received this message from the plant kingdom that everything you want will depend on the new way you choose to lead. Everything you want, expansion of your environment, stability in your finances, deep fulfillment, right? Deep joy that you desire. Everything depends on a new way you choose to rise on the spiral of leadership. Let's unpack that together. And when the more I contemplated that, like, what does it really mean? I kept seeing these three parts of this process. The first part is to transcend stack attachments, right? And attachments, you know, the reason why even the word attachment, right? It's like, you know, for me, it was attachment to being only visible on one platform called Facebook. I was so attached to only being there. And then the spirit said, you know, you gotta let go of that attachment and expand into new platforms like YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn. This is leadership, right? Where you say, I choose to transcend what I know and expand beyond that, right? And make this light of my message, of my leadership, be visible in a new way. So if you have attachment to only Facebook, I encourage you to consider that there are other platforms that can really be blessed by the warmth of your generosity and by the depth of your passion for your message. The second component is to fully embody our genius. And what does that mean? Our genius is that unique combination of a soul gifts. And if you ever studied Gene Keys with me, Gene Keys is a beautiful transmission that is all about that gives you a map of your consciousness, right? That gives you a clue to specific frequency that you carry. That the process of bringing that genius up, right, from the depth of your being, and standing boldly in that. Genius transcends all competition and all comparison, because nobody can be you, and that is your power, right? And then the third element that I see is ascending into ecstatic co-creation with life, right? So the service is not an effort or something that you need to do to grow your business or to grow your leadership. Service is a joyful dance with creation, right? Imagine what would be possible if these three ideas become deeply alive in your leadership, beloveds. What would be possible? Every day you say, oh, that's the work, that's the expansion process. If you don't like the word work, substitute our expansion as leaders to transcend whatever we attach to currently on this level, to embody our genius even more, and to ascend into ecstatic co-creation with life. What a beautiful journey, right? Yes, stand on the threshold. So this is how simple it can be, beloveds, but every day I say, okay, life is inviting me to dance with it in a new way. So the key question, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of this presentation. What is leadership? And before I go on, I would like to know, what is leadership? If somebody gives you a microphone right now and says, describe leadership in one word, what would you say? And there is no wrong answers and there is no right answers. There is just a contemplation. So let me know in the chat box. Kai says, leadership is hard. Yeah, definitely, Kai. Absolutely. Inspiration, Annie says. Inspiring, serving as an example. Responsibility, absolutely. Being a role model, an example. Yes. Living by example. Embodiment. Yes, Tyler. So you see, we're weaving our unapologetic courage. Absolutely. Integrity. Yes. Genuineness. Hi, Sergio. Good to see you. Melanie, empowering others. Yes. You see, our experience becomes so rich when you're willing to offer your understanding of leadership. So what is leadership? I love the way Brené Brown describes leadership. I've heard it before, but it lands deeper each time that I read it. So this is the first one, is Brené Brown. Okay, let's read this together. Leadership is recognizing the potential in people and ideas, and having the courage to develop that potential. Wow. So recognizing the potential, this is what we do as coaches, as mentors, definitely as creatives, definitely as entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter what stage you are at. If you have the capacity to recognize a potential in people and potential of an idea, and then the second stage, finding the courage and continue to cultivate that courage to develop the potential, right? Developing the potential, that's the journey of leadership. So it's not about the title or a resume or any kind of accolades. It's much simpler than that. Leadership is recognizing the potential in people and ideas. Is this inspiring for you to see? I love this so much because it is very liberating, it's light, and it's very fluid, so you can customize it and make it the way that is authentic to you. And I expanded that into my own 3 key ideas. So leadership for me personally is this idea. It's reminding people what's important. And I usually keep sharing this message about the power of the vision, because having a big, strong vision that you believe in gives you strength to rise above inertia, to rise above melancholy, to rise above collective melodrama, right? Having the vision. There are so many days and months where I would have this big sheet of paper on the wall, and I would wake up and the first thing my eyes would see is my vision. Because I did not trust just my willpower, and I have pretty strong willpower, but still there were days where melancholy would grip me, or simply a dissatisfaction or impatience of being human would grip me. So seeing a vision of what I desire to create, the first thing would help me remember what's important. And then the confidence, right? So confidence, from my experience, is built. Confidence is really a verb. So I continue to remind people there is no such a thing as confident people or unconfident people. Confidence is a choice, right? It's a decision to show up and discover what you are capable of. And then fortitude. To me, fortitude is one of the sexy words out there in the English language. Fortitude is this deep, deep strength. You know, fortitude is something that you call out of yourself when you climb, you go on an 8-hour hike. I just remember my journey in Peru, where I signed up for this Inca trail without even knowing that it's an 8-hour hike. And I remember like halfway through it, my feet began to hurt. And I remember tapping into that fortitude and its ability to just focus on one moment at a time. And then one moment at a time, you become timeless. You become so present to your experience that fortitude, that deep strength begins to carry you. It's so beautiful. So reminding people what's important. Now look at your life, my dear friend, and ask yourself, how consistently you remind people around you what's important. Because that is a reflection of your leadership right now. And everything you desire will depend on a new way you choose to remind people what's important. The second one, leadership is growing other leaders. Leading others to self-awareness, self-mastery, and self-leadership. This is so beautiful, right? So beautiful. Because when we grow other leaders, there is nothing more fulfilling in the world. So if you see yourself, Katerina, I'm a yoga teacher. Really? You're a yoga teacher? Or you're guiding others to the most incredible, empowering experience called self-awareness. So we rise or we fall to the level we see ourselves. Oh, Katerina, I'm a creative, I'm an artist. Really? Or you're guiding others to a very powerful way of creative, sovereign liberation. So how do you see yourself? And how can you expand what you do to include growing other leaders as something that is a part of your experience, a part of your leadership? So then the third one, leadership is discernment between the wants of the people and their needs. Sergey says, without vision, willpower fades. Yes, exactly, Sergey. I'm just checking your comments right now. This is a sometimes not easy one for me, beloveds. I want you to know this is the one that I continue to grow. Discernment between the wants of the people and their needs. I often share this message of mastery. Because a lot of times when people come to me for leadership support, they want to go fast, or they want to go faster, or they want to have a bigger results or faster results, right? So that would be a person's want. What do they want? And a lot of times, the very first thing that I do is I help them see that it's important to slow down first. Before you can go fast, you got to slow down to the point of stillness, right? And to recalibrate your field so you know for sure that you're going in the aligned direction, right? So leadership, as I discover, is learning to discern, and what it takes is intuition. when I was reading your shares, you know, whenever you register for my webinars, I always ask, what do you desire to receive from this training? And so many answers came in that I wanna learn how to lead from the feminine, or from the divine feminine, you know. And I've been in contemplation for divine feminine leadership for a couple of years, really, really intensely, in deep inquiry. What does it mean to lead from divine feminine? And the number one idea is to lead through your intuition. In intuition, you can substitute the word soul, leading from your soul. And it takes incredible amount of discernment, because here's what people say they want, and here's what they need. And leadership is all an ability to build the bridge between the wants and the needs, and to guide your community, or to guide your clients, or to guide your students to really see what are their real needs. So that's what I discover. Discernment. All right, let's jump into how can we see the voice of the old paradigms comparing to innovative visionary approach to leadership. And I'd like to introduce to you these 4 key milestones that I began to see in my work with visionary leaders for the last 8 years. I've been supporting leaders from different industries, from both corporate world and creative world. So there is these 4 milestones that I see. And while you are exploring this with me, I invite you to ask yourself, where are you currently at? So these are the 4 milestones: attune, align, accelerate, and amplify. So the most consistent thing that I see when people are drawn to my work, they want to be here. They want to accelerate. They say, I want to go faster, right? Or here, I want to be here. And whenever I begin working with people, I invite them to start here. And attunement requires deep, deep listening, right? So let's go through each of these stages. And the way I wanted to present this is first to show what we've been taught from these old formulas of collective leadership, and what we can attune or experience when we lead from our soul. So the very first one is attune. So what are we taught to attune as leaders? Unconsciously or consciously? Unconsciously through media programming, right? Through what we see on social media sometimes, maybe through our parents, our teachers, or old programs. So the very first thing that I see that we are taught to attune as leaders is our ego desires, past paradigms, and what others are doing. You know, I remember this, you know, we kind of begin, all of us begin here. What others are doing instead of what does my soul wants me to bring forward, right? And also, we are taught to attune to what realistic or appropriate. What can we get versus how do I serve? And then mind over the body. So I remember, you know, when I was just discovering this world of leadership and service, I kept seeing only the messages of, you know, think your way through it, right? So a lot of mindset training, which is a beautiful stage to begin, but there is so much deeper. There is so much deeper embodiment. So what do visionary leaders attune to? Well, the very first thing is the soul, right? The soul, the journey. So it's not just the outcome, it's the journey. Visionary leaders become very honest about their power leaks, right? So where we're losing our power. Visionary leaders look at the world as infinite amount of opportunities and possibilities. Visionary leaders desire to expand their range, their ability to play at a much bigger range. This is also a journey for that. And trajectory. Trajectory that is an alignment to your soul. So when you think about your own process of attuning to the new spiral of your leadership, there is always going to be an invitation to say, where am I currently losing my power? And just to give you an insight that I see where people lose the most of their power the fastest is through comparison, right? Through comparison. And I often invite people to put these soulful blinders on, where you become deaf to anything else but the voice of your vision, right? So when I wake up every morning, this is my very simple practice. I wake up every morning and I listen to the voice of my vision. And I say, what's the plan for today? Right? And I receive instructions, and there is nothing special about that. There's just a practice and a devotion. So you begin to listen to the soul of your vision. You begin to focus on the journey, and you become curious, where am I losing my power? And how can I expand my range? How can I open up my genius bigger and bigger and bigger? So this is the first stage of attunement. So the second one is alignment, right? Alignment. So what I often see, kind of the old paradigms of what people are told to align to, is somebody else's blueprint of success. Somebody else's schedule, 5 a.m. club, 4 a.m. club, 6 a.m. club, right? Someone else's pace, someone else's rhythm, and someone else's expression, right? And then what do visionary leaders align with? Your soul blueprint of success. And it's going to be so unique to you and so unrepeatable. Your soul schedule, that's where we begin to discover the power of divine timing. The divine timing is a real thing, and we can't force it. We can only surrender to it. Our soul's pace, right? That our soul is very cyclic in nature. There are cycles of birth, growth, and expansion, and there is a cycle of decline, stillness, and death. And when we begin to lead from our soul, we respect the cyclic nature of our leadership. Our soul rhythm, I love this one so much. It only took me a few deep burnouts to be humbled enough to begin to listen to the rhythm of my soul and to focus on seeing the beauty of deepening and not just scaling. You know, I remember writing a big post on Facebook, I think it was this year, that I was not interested in scaling my business, but I was deeply committed in deepening, right? So this was the message from my soul, respecting the rhythm of my soul. And it's very, very powerful when we learn how to listen. And then our soul expression, right? And it will change. Our expression will change and will flower. Sometimes it's going to be very dynamic, very fiery in nature, sometimes very soft and fluid. And how can we discover our expression? Well, the number one tip that I can share with you is by not being afraid to experiment with your range. and that's been willingness to be present in the moment, to dive into the moment, to discover your new expression. And it comes from divine inspiration. So how many of you resonate with this? When I tune into these qualities of visionary leadership, I feel spacious, I feel harmony. I feel a deep sense of support that something bigger than my conscious mind is inspiring my leadership, inspiring this deep devotion to develop my potential and to develop the potential of the people that I serve, right? So really beautiful. This is the visionary qualities. Yeah, high resonance, right? Resonates a lot. I'm so glad to share. And this is a brand new presentation, beloveds. I've never shared this information with anybody before. So I'm discovering this with you, right? So then part 3, once we attune and once we align, which can feel kind of like a slow process, right? It can feel like a slow process, like nothing really is happening. You just focus on attuning to your inner world, to the truth of your soul, and then aligning your trajectory, aligning your rhythm, aligning your expression. This may look like outside, like nothing is happening in your life or in your business or in your leadership. That's where it's so easy to lose your faith and to lose your momentum and to give up and pack your bags and just say, it's not working for me. I would propose this idea that these 2 stages of attuning and alignment, it's you growing deep, deep roots. Because the next 2 stages, accelerate and amplify, everything begins to happen very, very, very fast. And if you don't have a strong root system, you'll just be blown away, like that rainstorm just blew away all my furniture on the front patio, right? So when the visionary leadership have deep humility, right? Deep humility, deep trust in the process, in the deep currents of your soul that is in charge of your process. Yeah, that's what I see. All right, let's dive into let's dive into the other 2. So interesting. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me see. Sometimes, it's so interesting. Okay, can you see my slides that says part 3, accelerate? Yes, okay, perfect. You're so welcome, beloveds. Yeah, it's okay, perfect. So let's talk about accelerate. And again, this is where, if you work with clients like me, if you're a mentor, a coach, or a teacher, this is where most of your people will want to start. A lot of times we're humans, we're very impatient with our journey. We want to skip those 2 steps. But the deeper our roots, the faster we can go. Okay, well, let's look at the old paradigms. What are we taught to accelerate as leaders? I have a few ideas. Well, things like force, effort, pushing and crushing. Crush your goals, right? Destroy your competition and dominate your marketplace. And all of it is supercharged by achievement high, because I've spent 10 years being an achiever, and what it is, it's really a lot of times it is driven by fear, right? Fear to realize that if you don't produce or if you don't achieve, that you are not lovable or you're not worthy. Scarcity and punishment, self-punishment. So hyperproductivity at all cost, right? So this is really powerful to see in yourself or in the people that come to you for support. You know, at all cost means we destroy and deny the body, the planet, and our relationships. You know, in the 10 years of me being high achiever, I remember describing it achieving, like high achiever, achieving on steroids, right? My body was paying the price, all of my relationships, and definitely my relationship with the planet was not balanced or harmonious. Comparison, or on the contrary, how do visionary leaders accelerate? Returning to the wisdom of the Tao. And what is Tao? Well, it's the flow, it's the much bigger current of life that we are part of. Visionary leaders remember that we are a part of a holistic, interconnected system, that we are not separate islands, that we are all connected. So visionary leaders accelerate through harmony, through flow, through the wisdom of non-interference. Through incredible strength of unconditional trust, dynamism, right? Mastery, in harmony with the body, our planet, and our relationships. And through the upward spiral. This is the spiral that I've described in the very beginning, right? That there's this a beautiful, it's not a trajectory like this from A to B. It's more like this ongoing growth, ongoing expansion into harmony, ongoing discovery how deeply supported by the flow of life we can really be. Ongoing rising in our mastery. Yeah. And I love this Navy SEAL philosophy. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I've been discovering how supportive this principle can be in the leadership, because I find, beloveds, if I go too fast, I create chaos. I see this again and again and again. If I go too fast, I miss all the signs that the universe gives me. The universe is this quantum field that is so generous with a daily guidance. It speaks to us through signs and symbols and other people, right? Webinars for sure. But if I go too fast and I am so obsessed by this final outcome that I want to arrive, I miss the signs and I create chaos. Slow is smooth. And part 4, okay, it's time to amplify. It's time to amplify. So how we taught to amplify as leaders, and I invite you to really ask yourself right now, do you see this? I see this a lot on social media. Being the loudest, right? Or buying our way to the top. Schmoozing, fighting to be seen and heard. Being on all the time, where you're afraid to take a break, afraid to step away from your business or your leadership. Manipulation tactics, and hiding who we really are out of fear that we won't be accepted. Yeah. This is a big one, right? Again, we're just bringing awareness to these old belief systems. So many of them are rooted in old patriarchal ideology, right? How do visionary leaders amplify their message, their visibility, their service? Quiet confidence. My favorite, quiet confidence, where you stand and lead from your wholeness, from the totality of your life experience, your unique vibration. So much transmission happens in presence. So much, of our opportunity as leaders is simply learning to value our ability to hold space for another person. Remember the definition of leadership? Leadership is recognizing the potential in others and ideas and finding the courage to develop that potential. Quiet confidence. So sexy in my eyes. Nothing to prove, nothing to hide. This is actually a subtitle of the book that I'm currently birthing. It's going to be called Transparent Self. Nothing to prove, nothing to hide. Imagine you giving yourself a giant permission. Now, from now on, your devotion is to let go of trying to prove yourself, letting go of proving yourself as an expert or as a teacher, as a leader. You show up and you trust your transformational presence. Leading through listening, this is something that I am currently deep in embodying, learning to embody at the depth of my capacity, leading through listening, right? Instead of telling people what to think, what to believe, I'm learning to ask a deeper question and guide people in trusting what they already know, channeling authentic power, being guided directly by spirit. And then the beautiful, beautiful journey of re-educating your ego to be in service of the soul. We really need our ego, beloveds. Ego is a set of preferences, set of positionality, set of beliefs, right? Ego is individual, personal story. It's a beautiful thing to have an ego. Stay with me, stay with me. As long as we make our ego conscious, right? And we re-educate our ego in service to the soul, then our ego becomes this powerful vehicle through which we can move through the world. It's a beautiful thing, but ego serves the soul. That's how we know that we lead as a visionary leader. Generosity, and then we connect to our soul goals. And then there's a desire to create more spaciousness. There's desire for sabbatical, something that I share on a regular basis. The beauty of sabbatical, the beauty of giving yourself permission to take all of your roles and all of your responsibilities and to dissolve into the spaciousness of sabbatical. And philanthropy, right? Philanthropy translated as love of humanity, where you truly begin to live as, hey, if there is no separate self and ego is just a temporary experience that gives me a flavor to experience myself as personality, everything I do for others, I do for myself. So philanthropy is a natural flowering of visionary leadership. So attune, align, accelerate, and amplify. I see these are the 4 milestones. They're kind of like archetypal stages. I'm curious, where do you find yourself at right now in these 4 milestones? Which one feels like you are there? I'm curious to see. Attune, Linda is here. I'm so happy to see you, Linda. Yeah. Kai says, I am attuned and aligned. Lisa says, all of them to different degrees. I totally resonate with that, Lisa. Yes, I find myself in all of them too. I'm feeling aligned right now. Hi, Brandy. Good to see you, beloveds. Yeah. And that's, I feel it's such a powerful answer if you say, I'm in all of them, because your your awareness, right? Awareness as a visionary leader, you can see yourself. There is a part of your psyche that goes through deep attunement. There is another part of your self that goes through alignment, right? All of them, all of them, all of them. All right. So I already asked you that. Okay, let's dive into this. Your unique style of leadership. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. I wish I got this training when I was finishing high school. I wish somebody told me, Katerina, you don't need to lead like anybody else. It will take you 20 years to find your own style of leadership. But once you do, you will feel so liberated and free because you just get to lead in your own unique style. If you work with the Jinkies, beloveds, again, I just can't stop but quoting Jinkies every time. It's a Jinky 8, and basically it's where we're going from letting go of the shadow of mediocrity, where you try to be like everybody else, and you open up your own style. Yeah. Linda, yeah. How do you unlock it? Okay, 3 ideas, only 3. There is a gazillion ways to unlock your style, and I want to hear from you how you do it. I'm just going to offer you 3 ideas. The idea number 1, think global, right? Where we make this courageous inner pivot from message to movement. From message to movement. And if I just plant this seed here in our container of this webinar, I feel deep on the level of the soul that it's going to bring a lot of harvest in its own time. But whatever message that is alive in your heart, how can you expand it into movement? You know, so for example, I'll give you my example. For me, it was a journey of first becoming really deeply passionate about leadership. And then I began to see, okay, leadership. And then there was a next chapter, thought leadership, right? Spreading ideas that matter, codifying my wisdom, right? Living legacy now. So, and then from the message began a movement that I'm here to support emerging thought leaders to become sovereign thought leaders. Because when we are sovereign, we begin to birth our deepest, most profound, most genius level of work. So from message to movement, I already came here, thought leadership, right? Gracie came out. So here's the one idea that I see that will be very, very relevant in this decade. That evolution from only seeing yourself, okay, I have my signature system or signature program, to really allow yourself to expand to unique body of work. That your soul is so vast and so big and filled with so much brilliance that you're here to bring forward unique body of work. And legacy piece. It's never too early to think of legacy. I think of legacy as a digital one because we live in a digital world that only become more and more digital. Might as well bring your ideas and your consciousness to an ever increasing digital world. So if you die tomorrow or today, what will you leave behind? This is a question that I ask myself every single day. I will leave behind digital legacy. My wonderful designer outlined all of my programs that are currently have been created. You know, and the moment I gave myself permission to break free from the spell of perfectionism and to realize that Creativity is an ongoing process of refinement. That in order for all of us to create something, we gotta be okay with the first version of that. The first version of that in its unique, imperfect beauty is good enough. And then you go through this magnificent process of refinement. I call it digital legacy, scalable programs. And leadership is about cloning yourself. Cloning yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are teaching somebody yoga, teaching somebody nutrition, helping somebody find home within by breathing in a new way, if you helping somebody see themselves in a new light. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. When you begin to think, how can I clone myself by packaging what I know, what I embody, what I love in these digital babies, you are creating your legacy. You're creating your legacy. You're creating your legacy. So, I'm going to see. Yes, Linda says, I invite my students to identify their strengths, their areas of growth, and I support them to expand their strengths and see their areas of growth as opportunities to grow even more mastery. I'm so inspired by you, Linda. You're such a wisdom keeper. And, for everyone who's on the call, my friend Linda Heller is here, who I had a privilege to be at the event together. It was me and my ally, Yvonne de la Flor. We were hosting women's initiation retreat in Idlewild. And Linda was there as an honorable wisdom keeper. And what I love about Linda, you're such a devoted student. You are a teacher, but you are here, always learning, always learning. Wow, it only took me an hour to cover the bulk of the content. Wow, that was fast. Okay, so if you're inspired, beloveds, I just wanted to take a few moments to share with you how I currently support leaders. And there's 3 ways that I can support you moving forward. The first one is a self-study. I just birthed this new baby of mine, and I wanted to package, my contemplation on leadership in a way that is accessible to anybody. So you can take me on a walk. You don't even need to have internet. You can just listen to this beautiful 13-day inner quest on visionary leadership. And I invite you to check it out. And what it is, it's a 13 days of a heartfelt contemplation on leadership. Comes with journaling prompts and leadership mantras and a lifetime access. So you can receive that. I wanted to share some of my clients, but I want to go straight to immersion. Immersions are back. And what I do at Immersions, whether it is a virtual one where you and I spend the whole day on Zoom, yes, it is possible. And I have done that many, many times. If you can't travel, or if you can travel, you're invited to come to my beautiful home in California and spend a day or 2 with me to birth your body of work. And it brings me incredible sense of delight to listen to your brilliance and to your wisdom, and then be a strong and big enough mirror for you to see the fullness of your gifts. And together in a day or 2 days, we map out all of your legacy level offerings, programs, and we birth your curriculum together. A really, really powerful experience that I offer on an ongoing basis. And my home is set up to receive my new immersion students. So one of my immersion clients is my sister Brita. Maybe some of you know her. She is incredible. She's an embodied Saraswati, plays so many musical instruments, and I had an honor to serve her in immersion. And we birthed 3 or 4 programs just in one day, because when you have connection to your message, and if you have really a willingness to allow that message to take form in a way that is scalable for you, wow, it's so beautiful. So this is what Brita says. She says that patience, grace, and laser accuracy. I'm blown away at how much I received through a one-day immersion with me. And she came with a muddy vision. This is often happens, beloveds. The leaders come to me with, they're on a threshold and they feel a call to much bigger expansion, but the vision is muddy. It's very difficult to see it in yourself. So this is my offering, this is my service. And if you'd like to experience, you are invited. And if you'd like to go on adventure with me, then you are invited to come to the mountains with me. I ran this beautiful mountain home for a 3-day visionary immersion. And that's what Taylor experienced with me. Taylor is a fantastic, really powerful business coach and an entrepreneur. And she came to the mountains with me and we spent 3 days together. We birthed her signature course, her signature methods, and her entire business academy in 2 days. So this is magic happens. And what I find, the reason I choose these beautiful locations is because our environment conditions our thinking. So I like to take my clients to beautiful environments where they feel supported, nourished, and they have space to dream really, really big. And then we put the process together and the plan how to bring that vision forward. So that's also available. And for the first time this year, beloveds, first time, I have the space for one-on-one mentorship. So this is also brand new that I am opening up to a 6 months mentorship commitments. If you know some of my work, I used to only offer 9 months and 13 months. But recently I've been working with stronger and stronger and stronger leaders who really don't need that long of a support. They come for very specific goals, very specific visions. And a lot of times 6 months support is fully adequate. So I'm opening it up. If you'd like to apply, you will see a link in a follow-up email that I'll show. And this is my sister Marcy, who talks highly of me. It's very beautiful to receive acknowledgement of your allies. But this is what Marcy says, and we are done. Wow, that was fast. So I wanted to share this, beloveds. Oh, I have time for Q&A. After the webinar, you will receive 2 follow-up emails. One will have a replay of this call, of this webinar, and a second will say 3 ways I can support you. And whatever way you feel you'd love to receive a support from me, whether it is through a self-study baby course that I just created. The light here is better. Ooh, look at that. Or you'd love to come to Immersion with me, it would be a great, great honor. So I also lead these virtual immersions, which I love because I have recently have been supporting Canadian clients who can't even travel right now. And my virtual immersions are the most affordable visionary support that I can offer. And what it looks like, we start, at 10 a.m. and we go until 4 or 5 p.m. And before the immersion, before I take you as an immersion client, I study deeply your business, your current message, your movement that you desire to create. And I do kind of like a business audit, to help you see what may be very difficult for you to see on your own, right? Yeah. And then we design an immersion day together. So it's been incredibly fun. And I've done these virtual immersions many times, and I see them very, very effective. So if this is something you'd like to explore, just reach out to me. Okay, do we have questions? Yes, Brandy. Yes, I love it. Shana says, wow, receiving this abundance of everything. Thank you so much. So grateful for you. Anna Maria, got so much out of it and got healthy dose of inspiration, nourishing my soul. Thank you so much for creating this webinar and sharing your deep work and insights with us. Brooklyn, thank you for thinking of us Canadians. I got you, beloveds. You are very welcome. This is what, I'm grateful for you, Kai, as well. This is what we do for each other, beloveds, because leadership, leadership can be a very lonely path, and it's like almost like there's this fear to talk about our challenges and to talk about these unconscious ways that we are being influenced, right? By collective programming, that you gotta be the loudest, you gotta fight your way, you gotta assert your dominance. And I don't see it's necessary. I don't see it's being sustainable. And I don't see it's being impactful. And, because true leadership is rooted in inspiration. So I love doing these webinars because it inspires me. I'm like, yeah, that's why I walk this path. So beautiful. On this note, beloveds, yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And finally, one more announcement. I want you to know, whenever you attend my webinars, I never automatically add you to my email list. My email community is by invitation and sovereign choice only. So if you'd like to be a part of it, on the second follow-up email, you will see there's an option that says, hey, do you want to stay in touch? Join my email community. And the reason you would want to be a part of it is because every month I record a wisdom transmission that is specific for that month theme based on astrological influences. And I'm excited to channel the one for numerology of 2022. Ben, thank you so much. Ben says, thank you for this inspiring webinar. It resonates a lot, and I love your view on leadership. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, I love connecting with my community through this portal that we call webinar, because it's such a nourishing way, right, to share perspectives, to share ideas, and to encourage each other to lead from our wholeness, right? And our wholeness is nothing to prove, nothing to hide, nothing to compete, nothing to compare. Nobody can be you, and that's your power. Yeah. So if you have a question or a share, Melanie, my mind hamster is spinning. It's so great. I love it. I love it. And I saw Charlotte. Yeah. So if you have a question, let me know, beloveds. And if not, let's enjoy this day. I had a deep honor leading a leadership mastermind this entire year. We are on the month 12. We have one more. And I had an inspiration to bring my own mentors to the mastermind. And yesterday, I had my mentor who is an elder. I mentor with elders and mentor with all kind of amazing beings, but two of them is elders. And so this, my mentor Raquel, she came on and she was doing a whole transmission called spontaneous leadership, where you lead without an agenda. Can you imagine being so liberated, being so connected to the vision of your soul, that you lead by trusting the moment, right? Clara, so good to see you. So that's why when I found that definition by Brené Brown, leadership is recognizing potential in people or ideas and cultivating courage to develop that potential, then we are all leaders in our own unique way, right? Empowering. On this note, it is 12:12. I'm becoming more concise with my webinars. Great honor to spend this time with you. I love you. Thank you. May you have a beautiful, beautiful integration time. And thank you so much for sharing the gift of your presence with me. I will see you next time.